Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. When they say that generals don't just die, it is very true because the spirit of the late General Ogolla has refused to rest in peace. At the burial ceremony, leaders had called on the government to ensure a speedy and proper investigation into the death of Ogolla. In fact, Oburu Odinga, who is the senator of Bondo County, did not mince his words. He told the government that as the Luo community, they have suffered political assassinations, and therefore they thought that this was one of them. People like Martha Karua, James Orengo, and a host of many Azimio leaders called on the president to expedite into the investigation of what happened to General Ogolla. William Ruto had read the mood of the people who went there to see General Ogolla and give him a befitting send-off. And being the person who knows what to say at what time, he told them that he's aware that Kenya has had many assassinations, but he assured them that the last assassination, or what he called extrajudicial killing, would be the people who he said were being killed and cast in Raila. And with that, he sought to assure Kenyans that he was going to conduct speedy investigation. The only problem is that he left this investigation in the hands of the Kenya Air Force, the very department where Ogolla had risen over into the rank of a CDF. But recently, if there is one person who spoke things without any euphemism, is Miguna, the controversial barrister. And Miguna said that we cannot be gagged and muzzled from asking questions because some people had said that we let the spirit of the General Ogolla to rest in peace. Others had even said that, you see, matters that involve military are not allowed to be discussed in public. But Miguna is saying that we must ask questions and ask hard questions, and those questions must be answered. And in fact, Miguna was saying that there could be sabotage, that one of the military officers might have killed him because of succession politics. And he was saying that maybe thugs killed him. And with that, he was saying that we must ask questions without anyone telling us not to talk. For sometimes, Azimio gave William Ruto time to see the seriousness with which William Ruto is taking the matter into the death of Ogolla. And not only Ogolla, but the other 9 gallant soldiers who died in that plane crash. But it seems that it is business as usual, and that the government is moving on because promotions have been done and changes have been done in the military ranks. We have a new CDF and people have been promoted, and the Zimi fraternity is reading mischief. And so today they sought to ask questions. Kalonzo Musyoka read the statement on behalf of Raila Odinga and on behalf of all the Azimio leaders and supporters. And they are asking hard questions, joining into the thoughts and feelings of Miguna, thoughts and feelings of many Kenyans who have refused to believe that this was a normal accident.
together with 9 other gallant officers of KDF. We note with concern that the Kenya Kwanza regime has moved on swiftly, leaving the families of the departed soldiers with no help. They also are yet to establish a time-bound public inquiry into the cause of the chopper crash. We reiterate our earlier demands of securing the services of independent and international experts or investigators who will get to the bottom of this matter. The ongoing investigations by the Kenya Air Force is a limited internal affair that does not satisfy the requirement of an open, transparent, independent, and credible investigation. We too demand that a parliamentary select committee inquiring into the tragedy be set up immediately. Kenyans are concerned and suspicious that the tragic death of the 4-star general and his colleagues may be connected to sinister political machinations. This is particularly so given the unsubstantiated allegations against his person relating to the 2022 presidential elections.
I have been asking myself one question. General Ogolla was the Chief of Defense Forces for the Republic of Kenya. And when he died, his death affected the entire nation. And that is why we had dignitaries from all walks of life who came to help Kenya mourn their first CDF to die in office. I have never seen the Kenya Kwanza calling for speedy investigation into this matter, and I'm worried. Why is it that the Kenya Kwanza team are not bothered? Because all that we know is that most of the Kenya Kwanza team had labeled Ogolla, the man who went there in Bomas to overturn Ruto's victory. Some of them want General Ogolla. When he was alive, they kept on maligning his name. The president himself told us that when he was given names that he was supposed to consider for the post of a CDF, General Ogolla's name did not even feature anywhere, while we know that the military council gave him the name of General Ogolla. William Ruto did not tell us that when he grilled the general, he realized that Ogolla had SMSs that vindicated him, because when he went to Bomas, they went there because the results that were coming out of the screen had ceased, and there was tension building outside here, and people were wondering why they had stopped, screening the live streaming the results. Ruto did say that. So at the point when he was being buried, Edwin Duale took to the podium and he wanted to hoodwink Kenyans that he knew that General Ogolla had 3 SMSs. We know there were SMSs, but they didn't say it when Ogolla was alive. They did tell him, man, we are sorry, we thought you went there to overturn our verdicts, but we've realized that you are there for another mission, not what we have accused you for. People like Oscar Sudi did not apologize to the general before he died. William Ruto did not apologize. He maintained to the last minute. The Kenya Kwanza team did not apologize to General Ogolla. But the Azimio fraternity is calling out on the government to expedite the investigation into what happened to General Ogolla. And you've seen in several quarters, very many people believe that this was not just it was not a normal accident. Because as Miguna puts it, who swapped the chopper that General Ogolla was supposed to be using? And who gave orders to a whole CDF to be going to schools to supervise the construction of schools? That could have been done by other officials within the military department. Why did he go there alone without the other military ranks? Maybe his deputy Where was the Cabinet Secretary of Defense? This was a joint operation between the KDF and the police. Where was the Cabinet Secretary for Interior? Why was Ogolla bundled in a jet, in a chopper, with the military officers of a lower rank? So questions are being asked. Where was the evacuation team? The escort, or what we call the chase choppers around him? The kind of security that the general receives is equivalent, almost equivalent to that a president receives. So questions are being asked. Be that as it may, we know that there have been mysterious deaths in the country, and anytime they happen, the government is called upon to ensure that there is speedy investigation. But none of them, not even one, has ever come clean. We never received a clean report of any death that is suspicious. You could mention people like Uuko, JM Kariukui, Piogama Pinto, Odhiambo Mbai. You mention them. There can never be, and even this one I can assure you, there will be no clean report. And it begs now the question, then why is the Azimio fraternity pushing the government to ensure that there is speedy investigation and a proper report, knowing very well that there can never be, because the suspect cannot be the investigating team? Why? Knowing very well that we can never have a proper report. The question is now, yes, we know that the government will not give a clear report, because from where I sit, the report will be maybe due to bad weather. As we saw today, maybe Kenyans are already being prepared when the government spokesperson told us that the chopper that he was using had to make an emergency landing. Maybe we are being prepared that it was due to bad weather, maybe some loophole, maybe some body parts were not working well, so that we start blaming the engineers, because there has to be sacrificial lambs. The reason why Azimio is pushing the government, even knowing at the back of their minds that there will be no any credible report, is number one, so that the government would not think that people are gullible. Because according to them, they believe that they can do this, and after they had compromised the son of General Ogolla, Joel Ogolla himself, and Joel Ogolla was supporting this government, they knew it was over. And so they are doing this so that they must not think at any one point that people are gullible and that people are bought into their silence or the kind of a vague report that will be given. Because otherwise people would have just sat quiet and pretty and said that, okay, let us keep quiet now, because there's nothing that will come out of it. Number two, there is a kind of laxity, and it is business as usual. And you know that these soldiers had got some benefits. Sometimes they can be forgotten completely. So the government is reminded to ensure that they take care. If there are benefits that the spouses are supposed to receive, then this must be done faster and must be expedited, so that we don't let those who have been left behind to suffer as a result of the negligence and death of the general. We are also doing this, as Miguna puts it, that there could be negligence. And so to avoid any further or a repeat of the same negligent deaths, then people must ask questions, people must push the government. If you sit pretty and you keep quiet, then they will say, hata hawa wamesahau. So they are being pushed so that they can also look at themselves and find out where the loophole is, if at all the general was not murdered, and they know the nuts that they can tighten. Regimes have got tendency that when they do something and people keep quiet, then they draw a verdict that the people have gotten used to it. And so they will be doing this every now and then. But the Azimio is making a lot of noise, so that if at all there was sabotage into the death of Ogolla, then we don't see many more other deaths such as this. Because when we turn our country into a butcher house, where anybody who does not read from the same page as the government is killed aimlessly, because these are things that we saw during the KANU regime. Mwingine amegongwa na gari pale, and then investigations are carried and you are given a report that suits the president's orders. You will tell them this is what happened, and it is business as usual. Life moves on. So they are doing this so that we don't have any repeat of the same. But William Ruto must understand that Kenyans are very suspicious and they feel that there is more than meets the eye. And if he's not going to come clean on this, then Kenyans will sit there as usual, but they will know that the general was assassinated. I don't know what to think, but that is my take.